Today I need to show you a couple of things that you will need to be able to do in order to complete the body of the train drawing. I have a sample model here, and this is not to spec in any way, but it should be something you would see near the start of your drawing. One of the things you'll have to be able to do is place a hole on top of the cylinder, and if you try to just place a hole on a cylinder, it's going to complain. In order to do this, you need to apply a work plane that is tangent to a surface and parallel to a plane. Follow the order in the name, tangent to the surface and parallel to the plane. So first the surface, then the plane. So I'm choosing my surface, that cylinder, and I'm going to choose the plane at the bottom. And that will put this work plane on top. Now I can place a sketch on top of the work plane. So I'm going to start a sketch. And I point at the work plane until it lights up showing me that I have that work plane selected, and I left click. I'm going to recenter my drawing, and in order to put a hole I need to have a point for it to go to, so I'm going to use the point tool, and I'm just going to place it kind of off center a bit so you can see what's happening. So now I have a point on this page or on this sketch. And I need to apply a couple of constraints. We're going to use a vertical constraint to line this point up with the center of this edge. Now that point is lined up on the tangent of that circle, or that cylinder, not a circle, okay? The other thing I need to be able to do is position this hole exactly where I want it. So we're going to use dimension, and I choose the point and the edge, and then I pull out to the side. And let's say we use a dimension of 1.25. Okay. Now, and you can't see it on my video very well here, but you can see that it applied a dimension. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Currently, Inventor is keeping track of the point I just placed. If I click on Hole, it should pop up this Hole tool. And notice that it's using from sketch. Other things we'll do, the other one we'll use is linear, but right now we're going to use a sketch. You can choose the type of hole here. We are only going to use drilled. You can also read on the drawing, it says that they need to be angles at the bottom, so we're going to make sure this option is selected. And here you have two other things we'll use. Right now we're doing a simple hole. In a moment we will use a tapped hole, and that's for putting a screw in. I think it defaults to through, and what that does is it makes the hole punch all the way through the piece, but we're going to use distance. When we have distance selected, we get a depth and we get a diameter. So I want it to be a 0.75 depth, and I want it to be a diameter of 0.25 times 2. You can, that way, what I just showed you is a way that you can conveniently convert a radius into a diameter without doing any math. Inventor will do this math much like Excel. Once I have that, I click OK, and you can see that now I have a hole in the top of the part. As I continue working, it's going to be a little awkward if I have this purple work plane showing up all the time. I'm going to right click on the work plane and deselect visibility. It is still there because the hole is attached to that work plane, but it's no longer visible. The other thing we need to be able to do is place a linear threaded hole. So I'm going to choose the hole tool, and I'm going to choose the side that I want to apply the hole to. Then I have to give it 2 reference points, one for the bottom, and let's say I want this to be 0.5 from the bottom, and 1 from the front. So you have to give it 2 edges to reference to. I want this to be 1 inch back. Watch what happens when I put 1. Okay, so it moved the hole back, and I hit enter too soon. So I'm going to right click on the hole, edit that feature, and I want to make that threaded. And I want to make it, okay, when I choose threaded, it takes a second for it to load sometimes. Give it a minute. Why is it not working here? Okay, so we've got that and that. There it goes. Okay, so the first time you click on threaded, it takes a moment for the database to load. I want to use a 1/4 inch hole, and that's going to give me a selection of 1/4" screws that are threaded. And the thing I can control now is the depth. So I can change that depth. Let's say that it's 0.5 inches, 0.5 inches deep. And now I have a threaded hole that is 0.5 inches deep. That is specifically a 1/4" 20 UNC screw. Okay. That should get you through a big chunk of, where's my apply button? Oh, let's just click OK. So now you can see that I have this threaded hole here. It's kind of cool. All right, that should get you through some of the difficult parts of putting your holes on the little train model. One more thing I need to show you is fillet. When you use fillet, be conscientious that it is, Inventor is calculating a lot of circulars and a lot of curves, and if you apply too many at once, you're probably going to confuse it. So what you need to do is apply fillets, and I have it set at, I want to make it a 0.2 radius, so it makes it kind of big. Okay. You click on the edges that you want to fillet, and it will do those for you. And you can see what it's doing is it's applying a lovely little curve. And I would suggest do about 3 or 4, and then click the check mark and save your work. That way you don't confuse it and you don't end up with any trouble where it undoes all the filleting you just did. Notice the difference between these two. This has a 0.2 fillet on these corners, and this is the original state on the left. That should get you through the difficult parts of the train body project.